What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are starting this video very late in the day because I've been slacking on getting this product review out. Not really a review, but more so testing a prototype and reporting back with the results. I don't know how many videos ago, but I did mention that we have some PLM prototype hood release hinges for EF. Now, I'm very blessed to be able to test this product for them. Granted, they are 45 minutes from me. They really wanted me to try this on the wagon because I'm not entirely sure if the wagon hinges are different than the CRXs, the hatches, or the sedan. Now, he does have some results already for the CRX and how they fit, but really the main goal is for the wagon. And because I have 3 here, or 2 with original hoods, I want to try it on a wagon and report back. But I am going to try it on the KRX anyways because it is already here on the driveway. This carbon fiber hood sits somewhat flush to my car, so I want to at least see it for myself on how well these hinges work. And I've been putting it off because I've just got so many things going on. So when they sent the V1, the other person, because there's only 2 people that are testing it, the other person, which is also local here, had already tested the first one, and they sent back results saying that it was too high. It looks like it has a hood prop, so they revised it and sent out version 2, which was also tested again. Now, mind you, I have version 1 and version 2, but I haven't gotten to it. And version 2 was revised and version 3 came out, and I just picked it up yesterday. So I'm gonna try the version 3 today and really just see how it fits on here and on the wagon. Now, take note, there is a bigger gap than the OE hood, but this is kind of granted with aftermarket carbon hood or fiberglass hood. Nonetheless, the hood is somewhat flush to the fender, right? So I'm using this for reference right now. Okay, very flush. So in order for me to get these hinges on, I'm gonna have to remove the cowl right here and then remove the hinges underneath there, because that bolt is literally sitting about right here.
Breakfast for only $7.
The hood release hinges are its own unit, and I have to remove this entire hinge off the car itself. So removing the cowl allows you to get to this bolt. Now, if you're a savage, you can, I don't know, get a tool in there, but I don't want to mess up my cowl because they are hard to find nowadays. So now that we have access to this bolt, we'll just remove that. On the driver's side hinge, there's this washer thing with a little restriction, I don't know, a little restriction tab right here. This prevents the hood and the hinge itself from going full 90 degrees. A lot of people remove it to look cool because they want to pop the hood all the way like an EG or a DC or even an EK. If you guys ever noticed, under those hoods, there's 2 sets of holes for the hood prop. For the EF, there's only 1 set of holes because it only goes that far. I don't know what this angle is, 45, 50 maybe, but it doesn't go full 90. We're gonna have to remove this. And there is another bolt underneath that. if I do end up getting these hood releases for my car, I'm definitely gonna try to retain these. Or actually, I may be wrong, because I think the hood has to go full 90 in order for it to pop off the hinges, as far as I've seen on like EGs and DC chassis with the hood releases. First package right here. These are prototypes, so they are 3D printed. Version 1. Oh my god, you guys can't even see this. So this right here is version 1. You can see how thick this is right here. I'm not entirely sure if this is what's causing the hood to sit really high, but hood release hinges for EF, it does look like it has to go 90 degrees before it can pop off. So we might not be able to use that little restriction washer on the driver's side. So 90 degrees, goes in, closes. Let's open version 2 and see what the difference is. Oh, this has its own bottom hinge too. I didn't realize that. So from version 1, let's write on this V1, V2, V2. Let's go ahead and open version 3. I'm gonna go ahead and write on this one version 3. So looking at this one between version 2, okay, so this one's a little weird. This is version 2, this is version 3. Version 2 and version 3 top hinge looks the same on the top, right? Version 2, version 3, the base plate for the 3 is thicker than the 2. So this is like version 1. But I also noticed that the difference between version 2 and version 3 is the countersunk. So this is 3, this is 2. 3 has a countersunk on it, and I don't know why. I think maybe it's to sink the bolt in more so the hinge can sit more flatter. I don't know. And then also the difference with the top one is version 2 is here, version 3 is here. Version 3 countersunk hole is much larger than the version 2 to fit like an OE bolt with the OE washer, I'm assuming. But other than that, I mean, this pretty much looks the same for the most part. So I didn't want to have to do this scraping off the sealant, because I don't want to leave it fully exposed open, but I'm gonna have to. It looks like it's only the front that's touching, so I'm just gonna cut a little bit of the front off. After scraping off the sealer, I kind of wished I had repainted the engine bay when I threw this motor in, because I half-assed this engine bay when I painted it, because I was supposed to sell the car. Was not planning to keep this car at first, but it grew on me. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. But I do want to redo this bay eventually. Driver's side. Which way's driver? Okay, so my first issue, this part is hitting the webbing on my carbon hood right here. So if you look, both the holes, right, you can see it's not sitting straight because it is hitting right there. And if I do make it straight, there's a good sized gap. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm probably gonna trim this part right here until it fits. Now I don't know if this applies to the OE hood because I don't have an OEM hood, but let's mark and modify that real quick. So I want to show you guys how much of the V3 top hinge I cut off comparison to the V2. So if you look, I cut off probably, I want to say 1/2 inch, and that's just to clear the carbon fiber hood. Again, I don't know if this is going to clear the OE hood, but the top of these hinges are about the same, so when I do go and try it on my brother's wagon with the OE hood, we'll know if this hits or not. But I already sent Jonathan a message about this. I'm going to go ahead and continue putting this on, and then we'll fit it onto the car. I need to trim this a little bit more right here in the corner, but for the most part, nice and flush. Passenger on, driver side on. Let's test fit. I mean, it's a little flimsy because it's ABS plastic. Sorry, put latch problems. Okay, so that looks good. Nice and flush all the way down. Granted, carbon fiber hood. I don't have the rubbers in the corner to keep this from flopping, but for the most part, flush all the way. This one, a little bit lower, like, I don't know, a millimeter or two lower. But if worst case scenario, I'd rather have it a little bit lower than to have it super high, because you can always space it to bring it up, which a product like this coming from the factory shouldn't have this issue, but this is what prototype is for. So driver side a little bit low, passenger perfect. But I also think because of how weak and soft the material is, because you can see I can still move it, I think for the most part it's a good fit. Again, front is latch all the way, not coming up. And go ahead and tug on it from the rear. Not shabby. Again, this is going to be made out of billet. It's going to be much more firmer. So for the CRX, which is identical to the hatch, the V3 is looking really good. Now, we did run out of daylight because I started this video a little late, but not to worry. I'll continue this tomorrow in the scorching sun on my brother's wagon over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I guess snap some photos, take it all off, put this car back together, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. So next day here, I was just waiting for the weather to cool down, and it is cooled down a lot. It's a little bit breezy right now, but it's still in the high 80s. So I am going to be test fitting the hood release hinges on my brother's wagon. The reason why I want to do it on his wagon is because I have the JDM EF9 hood on my car, and it is super duper modified to fit the wagon because it's not made for the car, and the hood is much bigger, so it doesn't fit like factory. My brother's hood, I mean, granted it is cut for the supercharger, but it is closed fully, and it has a stock body line that I need to see if well, I mean, first and foremost, I want to see if the hinge actually fits the wagon hood and mount onto the chassis, and then see obviously if it lines the hood up with the fender like the OE spec you see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get to it. Okay, so right off the bat, after taking off the cowl, the hinges aren't going to work for the wagon because the wagon bolt holes are much closer than the CRX and the hatches. So let me grab the hinge. So you can see if I line up the back hole, the second hole is over there, while the CRX one is all the way in the front over here, right? Big difference, big difference. So it looks like this is not going to work for the wagon. I mean, unless, I mean, I can't even drill this out to even test fit it because there's not enough meat here to drill a hole out for the wagon hinge. Now, if I do have spare wagon hinges, which I'm almost certain that I don't, I could send it out to them and have them produce something for the wagon. but as far as test fitting this one goes, not gonna work. And also taking note with the back bolt to the hole, the CRX hatch hinge is much more longer. You can see how much more sticks up in the front over here, right? So I got this big package right here, 20-pound of glory, and this is one of a few items that I'm waiting to show up. This right here is going to be a big key factor for the wagon. I want to give a big shout out to Sean from Powerline out in Reno. Sean took ownership of my H22 Turbo CRX from his teammate Junior, which is the original guy that bought that car for me. I believe Sean sold the H22 CRX to somebody else that he knows that is like going all out in it. I haven't seen updates of the car, but I know that it is in good hands and it's gonna arise real soon. I'm gonna throw a little picture of the car after I sold it and how it looks. Pretty dope with the 3-piece front end, I know. Big shout out to Sean for this item right here. He gave me a really awesome deal on it, and this right here is definitely going to be checked off my list now because I've been stressing about which one to go with, and then he popped up with this one, which actually meets all my criteria for the setup that's currently in the car now. So in here, not in the original packaging but brand spanking new, is a precision, damn, this right here guys is a brand spanking new precision 6266. I don't remember if this is the one he threw on the H22 CRX before he sold the car, but nonetheless, brand spanking new precision 6266, rated at 750 horsepower or 700 for the journal bearing, and it does come with the fittings for feed and return as well as the flange. He did get the back housing ceramic coated, so it's pretty much ready to rock and roll right now. But at least we do have it on hand now for when we do upgrade the setup in the wagon. And also, I don't know about this ceramic coating color that's on here. It's freaking blue. But yeah, nonetheless, killer deal. Big shout out to Sean. Thank you for the Precision 6266. Checking this off my list. Now, a few more things to get before we start working on the new setup for the wagon. So I am going to wrap up the video right here. Big shout out to Jonathan from PLM for giving me the opportunity to try out their prototype for the CRX hatch release hood hinges. We know now that the sedan and wagon is a different design hood hinge. I'm going to talk to him about the wagon and sedan production if they want to make it for those chassis as well. I'll try to find the hinges and send them out. In this video, we know that the V3 works really well and it fits really well. From the other guy who tested it to me, they are pretty much getting the thumbs up from us, and they should start production real soon. So keep an eye out on PLM's website. So I am going to wrap up this video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the test fitting of the prototype V3 version of the release hinges for the CRX and hatch. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see what all goes down with the wagon, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.